I'm here with my co-host Alex, as always. And today we're going to talk about Loki episode 2, titled Variant. Alex, how's your day been so far, my man?
Apart from all my 3D print fails, it's been pretty good. I honestly, dude, I was watching Outer Banks when the episode aired. I know I've stooped that low, and I was watching it, and I've gone on TikTok, and I had saw that that the episode was live. People were posting episode 2 spoilers. I was like, oh my god, I forgot it's Wednesday, and that's when Loki comes out. So I forgot about the episode, but dude, it was so good. I mean, what an episode.
Yeah, definitely. I guess my initial reaction was, it's probably I know it's probably recency bias. It's probably the best episode of a Disney Plus Marvel show, or it's up there. It's definitely up there. It's the show so far is my favorite out of the three Disney Plus Marvel shows, mostly because I have a bias. Loki's my favorite character, but we got a lot to get into today. A lot happened. I do want to say one thing. Uh, I want to give a shout out to Owen Wilson. Agent Mobius is great, and
Dude,
every
he's
time I
such a
see him,
good character.
I just think of Lightning McQueen every time.
Dude, every time I see Mobius on screen, I have to smile. Like he's such a lovable character.
He is, and yeah, I guess I heard an interesting theory about him. So somebody, or I'll give a shout out to this guy, Josh from the Den of Nerds. He was talking about how, I don't know if he started this theory or not, but he talks about how he thinks that Mobius is from the 90s, and that the TVA just pulled him out. He's a variant, but has been brainwashed by the TVA because he has obsessions with jet skis. He drinks 90s sodas. He talked about the 90s, I think, in this episode as one of his favorite eras, and the TVA deals with all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he has a keen understanding of Earth's history, like Earth's historical events.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I really,
Oh, no,
I think
continue.
Mobius is not born from the TVA. He just was kidnapped.
Things. I don't know. I think it's been a pretty accepted theory that the TVA are just bad guys, and that this lady Loki is actually a good person, albeit has Loki methods about how they go about doing good things.
Right.
You know, destroying the sacred timeline, which I'm surprised. Here's the thing: is I'm surprised that more people understand Lady Loki's plan with destroying the sacred time or putting gaps in the sacred timeline, but they don't understand how the time travel works in the MCU. Both are just so confusing, but I don't know. I mean, Mobius, dude. I mean, everybody else in the TVA, they're sus, dude. They are capital S sus. I don't know, man. Mobius seems just so innocent. I don't think he could be born from the TVA either.
What about Casey? What about my guy Casey?
Nah, dude, he's sus. He's looking at Infinity Stones like paperweights. Like those are infinity fucking stones. One of them can legit reverse time or put time forward. One of them can warp reality. Like, dude, I mean, if you actually think about it, like, how many people would they have to bring in for those stones? Because the end credits of episode 1 showed us that they have a mind stone. So, in theory, someone could just bring them all together into a timeline and just snap. Because we saw Loki could use his magic when they brought him to that facility where he meets Lady Loki. So
Correct.
We saw his magic was able to be used. So
yeah. So okay. Basically, my thoughts about the TVA. Really interested organization. My thing is why are the timekeepers so obsessed with this sacred timeline? I'm really wondering this. And Mobius mentions how they want to perfect the ending. So time is infinite. So why do they want an endpoint? And what is the purpose of an endpoint. I wonder what the timekeepers really want out of all of this. It's really really interesting, and I will say that I think my favorite part of the episode is when they go to Pompeii
Hmm.
and and
That entire sequence was amazing.
and Loki just uh Mobius is just like, don't do too much, just start making bird noises, and Loki just like frees goats and starts speaking Latin. He's like, you're all about to die.
Hmm.
And then I'm just like, this is, and it raises a lot of ethical questions about the TVA because they went to that hurricane in Alabama. By the way, Alabama, you're screwed in the future. Obviously, it seems like
Clearly,
uh, they said this was a level 10 disaster. So
yeah.
this is, and Ragnarok was only a 7. So just to put that in perspective, a whole planet was a 7. This is a 10.
I will say, speaking of all this, I think Loki is taking what happens in the future very lightly. Like he sees that, or he knows that Ragnarok is going to happen. He knows that Asgard is going to be destroyed. And he's kind of just like, eh.
No, I think he was upset.
I didn't get that from him.
Well, he
Maybe
was
he was thinking,
shocked.
I don't know. I mean, when the sacred timeline thing, like when she drops the charges, we saw everything. We saw Asgard. We saw Vormir, Ego.
Titan,
Yeah, Titan. Like we saw.
Sakaar,
We saw so many
Xandar.
places. So, dude, is it to say that like we're actually gonna see what could happen? Because we know from trailer footage, we know we are going to see the what if Loki succeeded in New York. We're gonna see what happens if what if he took the throne of Asgard, like without how he did it by pretending to be Odin. So we're gonna see all that, but it's just like, okay, well then how do you plan to mend that timeline? Because
Oh, that's not getting amended. We're screwed. It's a multiverse now.
I mean, I think that's going to be something that's going to get fixed in Doctor Strange,
So,
and I think it's also as bad as this is going to be for things like TikTok. I think it is almost but confirmed we're going to see the 3 different versions of Spider-Man. I think it's almost confirmed it's going to happen.
right, because the TVA or Mobius confirms that Loki is in many different forms. So the
Yep.
variants. So
So we can.
Tom
We can
Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has different variants, and one of those is uh, Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's. That's
Yeah.
basically it.
And yeah, and that's literally all it's going to be about. I guess Spider-Man: No Way Home, which my thoughts on it is I really would have liked to seen Tom Holland get his own like third standalone movie, like without huge like Avengers level implications. Because I mean, if you think about it, like what's going on now should not be a Spider-Man or Doctor Strange movie. This should most certainly be an Avengers movie. So I think honestly what's happening right now in Loki and then Spider-Man No Way Home and then Doctor Strange, what could top this in terms of big event? What could top this? Galactus maybe?
Way too early.
But even then, at that point, yeah, it's too early. Kang the Conqueror is going to be stuck with Ant-Man. So why is this not an Avengers level threat? I mean, they saw Quentin Beck's stuff as Avengers level threat. Or I'm sorry, he was trying to become an Avengers level threat, but Spider-Man dealt with it.
Essentially, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Essentially, in my opinion, this is beyond what the Avengers can handle. Essentially, the Avengers have broken apart. Like they solved the greatest mystery ever. They defeated Thanos with time travel, and essentially they're all over the place. So, like, I don't know how. Like, we've established that the TVA is not in the cinematic universe that we know. It's essentially the 4th or 5th dimension. There's no way they could deal with this. And we don't know what the multiverse is going to be like. So, like, I don't. It makes sense that it's we've dealt with magical people so far. Wanda, chaos magic, Strange, his ancient magic, and Loki, Asgardian magic. It makes sense that we're dealing with magicians who would be able to solve stuff like this.
But
So I
the thing
so
is,
what is
with this
Ant-Man gonna
show,
do?
yeah, I mean, we know that Kang is probably going to have some sort of relevance to the quantum realm, and the thing is with this whole time travel and branch realities is it's a very muddy subject, but the way that the Ancient One explained it is that only if an Infinity Stone was moved out of its proper place would a branch timeline form. But now the way the TVA is explaining it is that anything could cause a branch timeline. Literally, you showing up late to school, work, getting home late could create a branch timeline. You breathing the wrong way could create a branch timeline. So it's like, which of those two do we believe? Which do you think that the Ancient One is correct in
Both.
this scenario? But do we really think to the extent that the TVA is trying to push it? I mean, even Loki disagrees. Like that is just complete propaganda that you're pushing down your people's throats. Because I mean, literally, like showing up late to work could create a branch timeline. Now, if you like, literally, if we compare the two, here, let me show you. Here, I have my 3D printed Mind Stone, and I have a piece of gum right here. Are you saying if I chew this piece of gum, oh, now we have a branch timeline, or oh, the Mind Stone isn't where it's supposed to be, now we have a branch timeline? I think the stone being moved makes more sense than, oh, I chewed a piece of gum the wrong way, and all of a sudden TVA's up my ass. So that's where I'm at. Is like, they're saying it's an attack on the sacred timeline. Okay, so is the TVA the timeline? Like, is that what they're worried about? Because to me, that's what it sounds like. Is that they're all like, "Oh my God, it's an attack on the sacred timeline." So we know all she's doing is just putting dips in the timeline. So it's still the straight line. It's just now there's going to be like parts missing. So
Yeah. So
muddy subject that Loki is.
Basically, I'm kind of confused because we've established that the charges reverse a branch reality, but instead now they've created. Like, I think the simple explanation there is like she reversed them or something like that. But like, yeah, it's really interesting. To like, why does there need to be a sacred? Why does it need to be one?
Right.
Why? Just like I have a lot of questions.
How does a multiverse? How does it have a war? How does it fight? No, this Thor is the correct Thor. No, my Thor is the correct Thor. My Thor, my Thor, my Thor. Is it just like actually a tug of war?
Yeah, like what happens? And like, so my thing is like, I definitely think that the judge, Renslayer, she refers to another agent. That's Kane. I'm pretty sure it's Kane the Conqueror. I don't know why. I just get that vibe that it's Kane because in the comics, she's married to Kane.
What if Mobius is a variant of Kang?
No.
What if, bro? Oh my gosh. What if Mobius is Kang the Conqueror?
That wouldn't make any sense.
Sure it would. It would make sense why her and him and that one judge that he's so close to are so close. Renslayer. I always think it's like Randy or something. See, it's funny because the Randy joke came up. Like, I think I preferred Randy.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it would make sense why they're so close because in the comics, her and Kang are close. They're a couple. So, dude, variant Kang the Conqueror right here, brainwashed. Could it be?
Guys, I just want to say on this channel, we subscribe to the belief that no theory is bad, but that's an example of a bad theory.
How is it a bad theory? How is it a bad theory?
Because Kane doesn't look like that.
Okay, literally, Loki isn't a woman, but oh, here we are. Loki's a woman now.
Well, technically, Loki is gender fluid, so he is what he wants, or
He took the
they
body of
are
a woman.
they are what they want.
He's referred to as he.
He's gender fluid canonically, but he's referred to as a he.
Yes. So Loki's pronouns could be he, they. So I refer to Loki as he. But I mean, no. I think you're missing my point of this theory. Is that
I get it.
to add on to the theory that you told me earlier? What if he was brainwashed so that? Okay, my whole thing with the Eternals is they are gods. Hold on, they are gods above gods. Where have they been for these huge events? What if their minds were wiped, so they didn't know that they were these big gods above gods above gods? What if that's what's going on now with Mobius? It's just a theory, a game theory. No,
I think Mobius was just a simple dude from the 90s. He loves jet skis and he loved his soda from the 90s.
I don't know.
Out of everything they have in the TVA, 90s stuff. Why?
Also, I must say that scene where he's like destroying Mobius' salad, it's so good. It's so
This is
good.
Ragnarok.
This is Ragnarok. Which, like, also, dude, like, I don't know. It's kind of weird that Loki's being so compliant with everything that they want. Like, yeah, it's because he wants to overthrow the TVA. I don't think that Loki wants to do it. See, it's weird because we have to call it that Loki, not Loki, because Loki that we know is dead. So, I don't know, man. I mean, this show is getting wild. Like,
it's out there. It's good though. It's one of the better MCU
good.
projects.
Here's the thing: is with WandaVision, it very much had the it had the skepticism of like, oh, we've never seen this before. What's
different?
Yeah, it was a good different though. But Loki was one where it was like it has a purpose to explain the timeline of the time heist and why it makes sense, because the directors and the Russos obviously agree. But no, I mean, this show I feel like is becoming much more than just timeline explanation. I mean, this is going into everything. I mean, going into Loki as a character, that him in his 2012 form didn't want to hurt anyone, but he was basically trained himself to hurt people. So my skepticism of this show is it's being fulfilled. I'll say that. I don't think it's that bad anymore.
Yeah, this was one of my more anticipated MCU projects. Obviously, I've talked about how Loki is probably my favorite character, and I was just also excited for the premise or the idea of the show. And I think it's hit on all cylinders. Plus, Owen Wilson's great.
Yeah.
He's great in everything that he's in. So,
dude, Richard E. Grant, where is he? Where is he?
I don't have many complaints about the show so far.
No,
so
I don't either, but I have a minor complaint.
Okay.
And, the whole thing of like where the TV operates, and they have the Infinity Stones. By the logic, technically them having multiple stones, that could create branches in itself. Yes, technically the branch timeline they do with the reset charges is destroyed, but now they have multiple Infinity Stones. I know Endgame established that you can have multiple stones in one timeline. For instance, Thanos didn't destroy the stones, even though he said in the movie he did. He would just reduce them to atoms. So, which also would make sense of why don't they just go back with Ant-Man and have him shrink down and get stones? Not gonna call it a plot hole. Just gonna call it weird. What would happen? If someone had a count of, I don't know, 6 reality stones. What if someone had, hold of, what was it, 6 or 7 time stones? 3 soul stones? A few space stones, why not? a Mind Stone. Like, I think it's really getting into like, there are more of those stones in the TVA that we're not seeing. What if Loki? What if Loki gets a few ideas of taking something that he's not supposed to? I don't know. I mean, I definitely want to see us see more stones in this show. I feel like it'd be a cool thing to see happen. Is Loki using an Infinity Stone? I mean,
That's a
other than him not knowing that he was using the Mind Stone.
that's an interesting take.
Yeah.
So I kind of now want to talk about. I think one of the other moments I like is when the Loki in the show is looking at other variations of Loki. Now, these other variations were hilarious. We saw one.
Yes.
We saw Loki as a frost giant. We saw Loki as a massive, ugly-looking thing. Saw Loki as another ugly-looking thing, and then we saw him as Lance Armstrong, which is funny because Lance Armstrong famous for cheating, and Loki is a cheater. So I thought that was funny, and I love Tom Hiddleston's. Like, can I just say, he's
Dude,
funny.
He's
The
a
show's
good,
funny.
Yes, he's a good comedian actor for this show.
I think my other favorite moment is like when he does the magic thing where he dries himself off, and the TVA lady is just like,
Well,
"What was
the
that?"
hell?
It's just like he's like, "It's me. I was drying myself off."
Right.
Just like,
Which, like, hey, I also like how in this episode he was basically going over how the different variants of Loki have different magic powers. Like, we see him use telekinesis to bring a Roomba to him as a self defense weapon. So, dude, it's like, what are the powers of this new Lady Loki? We saw one of them. We saw basically mind control.
she's practically Wanda.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah, but the thing is like, she's Wanda, but like on crack, because Wanda can legit Wanda can take over your mind and make you see things. She legit takes over your conscious.
Controls you basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like, I don't think I've ever been so excited to see someone reveal their powers until now, because I really want to know what all of her powers are.
So I was thinking about this. I'm like, this Lady Loki is pretty powerful. I'm like, Thor must be dead.
Yeah, dude.
I
What do you think would happen if we see Thor in the show? I don't think
I
we
highly
will.
doubt it. I highly doubt it.
You know what I think would be funny, since we're talking about variants. What if we see Thor played by one of the other Hemsworths, not Chris Hemsworth, but one of his brothers, and it's a variant of no. What if we need to see Chris Evans play a variant of Thor and Chris Hemsworth play a variant of Captain America? That's what I want to see. I want to see all the Avengers be different variants of each other.
So I kind of gathered that. So what's really weird is this variant of Loki is practically the same Loki as the Loki who died.
Yeah.
Like in appearance and everything. So like my thing I gathered was Loki is gender fluid and essentially can become what he wants. I didn't gather that somebody like Iron Man in another variation wouldn't be Tony Stark. Like wouldn't look like Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, I did. I got that completely.
Okay. I thought it was just basically because of Loki's magic.
Because with that case, what about all the, like, when they were showing the other variants they caught? Why would Loki want to appear as a woman as his main body? That wouldn't make sense. Like, maybe if he wanted to hide in plain sight, but now that the TVA have abilities to track the presence of a variant, so it wouldn't make much sense on that front to be a woman. I just think, I think maybe just in different branch timelines, people just look different. Maybe the events play the same, but
well, that's weird. That's weird.
A female Tony Stark. Oh my gosh.
Played by Pepper Potts. Played by Gwyneth
Yes.
Paltrow.
Yes. And then Tony Stark is the new Pepper. Yes, dude. Potts Industries.
Well, it's still called Stark Industry, but it's a woman Iron Man.
No, but like, what if Pepper, or no? Now this is getting confusing. What if new Pepper Potts, played by Robert Downey Jr., had to take over the company because
All right,
Tony Stark, played by
Gwyneth Paltrow.
then this is so confusing. See, this is why we don't deal with time travel in movies. It's so bad. Ugh.
That's funny though. That would make sense.
It'd be funny though, like,
I
dude.
would love to see Lady Loki like interact with our Thor that we know, because
Yeah,
I just like she's definitely more powerful than Thor.
and
So listen, the events, I don't know like when she left, Asgard, but let's just say essentially the events of the Thor movie happen. So Thor still defeats Loki, but it's a lady version.
yeah,
That's what happens.
yeah.
That's interesting. That's crazy.
He has to beat up a woman.
That's I just And by the
Dude,
way, people don't think it's Lady Loki, they think it's Enchantress.
I've seen the theory thrown around. I just don't think it makes sense. I think it's better. Well, first of all, she literally says, "You're me."
Right.
Like she flat out says that she's Loki. So it wouldn't make sense for her to be Enchantress, however the fuck you say the name. It wouldn't make,
Enchantress, yeah.
yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
Sylvia?
Yeah,
Sylvia, right?
because people tried to be detective and they went into the Spanish subtitles, and that was um,
Her the
that was her
actors,
name.
yeah.
And then in the casting for Loki a few months ago, that little girl who gave Mobius the little blue candy, that's her name. But I was like, that wouldn't make sense because wouldn't the detector for the variant just blare because they're literally in arm's length away?
Right.
And then she would point at the mirrors of the devil. Like, I don't think it would make much sense.
Why would she rat herself out,
Right.
essentially?
Yeah, why would she try to get that close to the TVA agents? Especially as experienced as someone as like Mobius.
Right.
So, to me, that doesn't make sense. It's woman Loki.
Yeah, totally. It makes sense. But I don't think she's the villain.
I don't either. I think she's an anti-hero. I
Right.
think the TVA are the true villains.
Do you think we see the Timekeepers? Like, actually?
Yep.
You do.
And I think the leader of the Timekeepers is Kang. I think we see Kang in the show.
Do you think the TVA is destroyed?
By the end of the show?
Yes.
Because if we're talking by the end of the season, no. End of the show, yes. Because the thing is like,
Okay, yeah.
is season 1 gonna lead into Doctor Strange, or is season 2 gonna lead into Doctor Strange?
I feel like season 1 will lead into Doctor Strange. And can we just say that Loki is going to be in Multiverse of Madness? I really feel like that's the vibe I'm getting.
I feel like he has to be.
Because Tom Hiddleston said, I was on set for Loki when I turned 40. And he turned 40 in February. They were filming Multiverse of Madness in February in London. It only makes, unless he was filming season 2 of Loki, but it would make sense. It would make sense he said Multiverse of Madness.
The head writer of the show is the head writer of Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, Michael Waldron.
So he's trying to play it like in interviews that maybe he wasn't smart enough to make connections. BS. You're a part of the MCU. You have people like Kevin Feige in your ear. So I absolutely think Loki has to be in Multiverse Madness.
By the way, shout out to Michael Waldron. I'm very excited to see what you do for Multiverse of Madness and what you do for Feige's Star Wars movie. I've been hearing. I've been watching some of his. I've been watching some of his interviews. I trust him.
Like, here's the thing: is with like it's weird because with WandaVision and with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it never held me to the point I was like, "Ooh, I'm so excited for next week." Loki, I'm excited now for every single Wednesday, even though I'm a little forgetful. But like, dude, I was really, really excited. I'm really excited for next week. I want to see what happened. So that's just where I'm at with the show right now. Is I'm excited. I mean, this is the most excited I've been for a Marvel TV show.
Right. And to add on to that, I think what it does an excellent job of is for the whole 50 minutes, I was engaged. There
Dude,
wasn't one point.
I am loving these 50-minute episodes.
Right.
I am in love. Like, I'm happy they're not doing the Bad Batch to us 20-minute episodes. But I'm also happy they're not doing. I think like WandaVision was only like 27 minutes.
Yeah, it was like low 30s. But listen, the shows are different. Bad Batch 16 episodes one
Yeah.
season.
Well,
WandaVision was 9.
well, no. Here's the thing: is WandaVision episodes were like 40 minutes long, but 20 minutes of them had to be end credits. So, which is funny that none of the other shows have that problem.
I don't know.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier didn't have that problem. Loki isn't having that problem.
I will say that the difference between Loki and the first two shows was uh the pandemic happened and then they had time to plan around it. The pandemic happened during the shooting of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so they had a hard time. Like you could tell, especially with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there was a whole storyline with Carly that had to be cut out with the
Yeah,
vaccine and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean,
And WandaVision suffered from it too because Doctor Strange was supposed to, Benedict Cumberbatch couldn't
yeah.
make it over, and that, yeah.
Yeah, and then not to mention, we were supposed to have an additional episode.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, there was an entire subplot in the finale cut because of COVID. So,
Right.
thankfully now that the pandemic's lifting up, hopefully by the end of the year we'll be completely back to normal. That means none more of these bad restrictions. So,
Yeah.
I'm thankful. It's also giving me hope for Kenobi. Kenobi's going to be the same amount of episodes, 6 episodes long. Dude, oh my god, these hour episodes for Kenobi are going to be amazing. They have to be. Which is funny
Yeah.
because before you sent me the link to get on here, for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, he is now one of an event called Galactic Legends. His Galactic Legend event just dropped today. So that's what I was doing before watching this. So I'm even more hyped for Obi-Wan's show now, which I'm telling you, please don't call it Obi-Wan Kenobi. Literally, just call it Kenobi.
Okay.
It's such a mouthful of a show name, but not a character name.
Yeah, so to continue talking about Loki, let's go through the beginning of the episode. So we are in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Shout out to my some of my friends from Wisconsin. Uh, so we're in Oshkosh, and we see that the TVA keeps making the same mistake. They keep going into these places. Lady Loki kills them all, and she's pretty vicious. It was a great opening scene, I think.
Oh yeah.
And she takes a prisoner. She hadn't done that before. We established that. Mobius and Loki are tasked with going to look and see what's up. And I will say the show's doing a great job of keeping us on our feet with Loki. I don't know what he wants to do half the time. I don't think he knows what he wants to do half the time.
I'll say that I'm not on my feet. I know that he's thinking about betraying them. Like he's got a whole scheme. Like even Lady Loki calls it out. Like this is what you're gonna do, isn't it? And he's like taken aback. He's like, how'd you know? Maybe Loki, because you're predictable. You're predictable, Loki. Quit being predictable.
You think Loki is predictable?
Literally, Lady Loki called him predictable in this episode. Well, she didn't flat out say it, but even Mobius was calling him obvious. Like, I mean, Loki's like a book. You read him enough times, you know what's going to happen the next time.
Well, Mobius did say, I've studied every moment of your life, so...
Right. I mean, even then, like, at the end of the first episode, he was like, is this the greatest power in the universe?
Right.
Who says that? And it's like, you know what? I'm a good guy now. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's obvious he's going to try to infiltrate the TVA. But, I'm thinking, like, what if the timekeepers aren't real? That's always been a thought in my head for the back of the show.
They have to be because in a lot of the shots they focus like the camera pans towards them, and then the music starts to get airy a little bit, like when
Yeah,
we're on the elevator.
but it's like, what if they aren't real? But then, my whole thing is like, okay, the TVA, they have all these Infinity Stones and they don't work. I mean, Loki even in episode 1 said that he tried to use the Tesseract, but it didn't work. So it'd just be like, to me, like, what could be, what if they aren't real? What if they're like deity figures to these people that just don't exist? Because even Mobius said he's never seen them before. We don't even know how long Mobius has been at the TVA. And you're trying to tell me one of the TVA's highest agents has never seen them before?
Well, the only one that answers is Renslayer.
Yeah.
And she says that the Timekeepers are more invested in this Lady Loki than any other variant before.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. Now,
it's also a thing of like, okay, if this is such a big event, why haven't the Timekeepers come out to help?
That's not their job.
There's 3 of them. You tell me one of them can't dictate the proper flow of time by themselves?
No, they can't. You gotta have 3.
Can't cover their shifts?
Gotta have 3. But my thing is like, why? Just again, why? What is their purpose? They have to be working for somebody else.
Kang, dude. I'm telling you, they are Kang's puppets.
Yeah.
They have to be. Like,
wouldn't it make sense that Kane wanted to take out Thanos without him? Like, he wanted to take out the biggest,
right.
Tony Stark, the smartest.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you even think about it, they let Captain America go back in time. One of the strongest. Like, really there are now only a few formidable opponents to Kang the Conqueror. Thor, Captain Marvel, whatever Jane Foster's Thor's name's gonna be, which I really hope it's not like Lady Thor or Female Thor. I really hope she gets a cool name. Wanda, you have all these people who are going to be formidable threats to Kang, so it's just like, you know what? Maybe letting Wanda take over reality for briefly while having a hex and basically allowing her to self-exile herself to open up to multiverse is how you take Wanda out of the equation.
So, yeah, my thing is like, they're like, yeah, WandaVision sets up Multiverse of Madness, or leads into. The only thing we got out of that show was that her children are trapped.
Yeah.
Then Loki.
I was getting that end scene in WandaVision was, oh, Scarlet Witch is going to go open the multiverse herself to go find her children. I thought, okay. So then maybe she's the villain of Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness, and basically Strange is going to have to stop her. But then I find out, oh, she's not the villain of Doctor Strange. Mordo's going to be the villain, which also, like, dude, where's Mordo been? Like,
chilling.
Too many sorcerers, and he's like, Endgame showed us there were a lot of sorcerers. Dude, the Fortnite CEO is a sorcerer. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cut and dry from WandaVision that, oh, Wanda's going to go open the multiverse herself. But then Loki was like, no, enough branch timelines need to open up for that to happen. So it's like, you know what? Maybe because
Wanda's going to go, or this is my thing. Wanda needs somebody, and America Chavez, one of her powers is she's a multiversal being. So she's going to need American Chavez to go into the multiverse. And then Strange is going to have to fix it all because everything was screwed up from Spider-Man and what Wanda did.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
If you think about it, like,
and then Loki will just be there chilling.
Like, here's the thing: is, why would Wanda taking over an entire town of people? How would that not create a branch reality? She's taken over people. Like, she basically.
That's part of the sacred timeline, dude.
Hold on. She basically has the ability to will an Infinity Stone back to life. Like, she brought the Mind Stone back into existence. She just through sheer will. So it's like, dude, What if Wanda on a beaten path day is like, you know what? Let's just bring Thanos back. Why not?
The timekeepers approved.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like maybe your whole theory about these timekeepers and Kang pulling people out to oppose them, Thanos, Tony, Cap, Wanda, like then we only have Doctor Strange to stand in the way, Captain Marvel, um, why am I blanking on
Thor.
names? Thor, Lady Thor, Jane Foster, whatever we're gonna call her. You know, what are we gonna do about all that? Like, obviously, Thor: Love and Thunder has to take the two Thors out of existence or out of the playbook. Um, what's it called? Captain Marvel somehow has to be taken out of the equation. Same with the other Marvels, you know.
Miss Marvel and
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau, yeah.
So, you know, you have all these people, and it's just like, again, a lot of these events in the MCU, how are those okay to happen? Because, you know, my whole line of thinking with that theory is what if Tony was supposed to die when Loki pushed him out of Stark Tower? But then his suit saved him. But then they saw how he could play out in the future with him snapping instead of someone else.
Right. And it would make sense that also Kane, Odin's gone.
Yep.
Loki, dead. God of Mischief.
Yep.
Gore the God Butcher is going to be the main villain of Thor: Love and Thunder. Gore the God Butcher kills gods, so god figures are going to be gone.
Hela's gone.
Hela's gone. Surtur was destroyed with Asgard, we assume,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense that Kane, Ego's dead.
Peter Quill no longer has access to celestial power.
It would make sense that either the timekeepers are helping Kane or Kane is manipulating the timekeepers so he can make it easier for himself to do whatever he wants.
The only other real person to stand in the way would be Galactus.
And we don't even know where he is. We don't know.
We don't even know when he's going to come into the MCU. All we know is that eventually one day he will. Okay. So, I mean, that's really.
We don't know about Doctor Doom. We don't know about the mutants yet. Like
Fantastic Four.
Kane, yeah. It would make sense that Kane, and then like you could hint at him here, and then in Ant-Man, Quantumania, he could be in the quantum realm somewhere, which would make sense. He's a time traveling being. Essentially, if he's manipulating the timekeepers, he can do what he wants.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, literally all he would have to do is basically hold them at essentially gunpoint, being like, if you're not going to do what I want and hold the timeline to what I want, then I'm going to go back in time and just create a bunch of branch timelines to eventually open up the multiverse and open up another multiversal war.
So essentially the multiverse now is presumably opened, right? They're not going to fix this. I mean, there's hundreds of charges that went off. They don't have enough.
What you know what I'm thinking is you watched the Flash season 1, right?
Yeah.
So you know at the end of season 1 when Barry has to run really, really, really fast and it opens a black hole?
Yeah.
What if all of a sudden we see all these cuts from movies? You know, we see Tobey Maguire fighting Doc Ock, and all of a sudden just two holes open up and a bunch of people fall through the multiverse hole, and that's how we get Doc Ock in.
Right. So you think when he falls into the river that the hole opens up and
yes, and that's how we find all these people, and then the plot of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is sending everyone back.
Right.
Because I mean, again, I think that Lady Loki, I don't think she's doing something wrong. Because again, literally, Loki even debates this ethics battle with Mobius. Like, so you don't believe in free will, basically. Yeah. You don't believe in allowing people to make their own choices.
Which is really interesting. So I want to kind of talk about this. So Loki is obsessed with him in control, right? Loki is a rodent, right? Loki is a rodent. Like he knows that he is Basically nothing. He's not really a god even. He was just given powers. He
right?
wasn't
Like,
born a god like Thor,
yeah,
Odin. So
he had to learn
Loki,
all those powers from Frigga.
right? Loki is a rodent, right? And he wants to appear as the god of mischief, the god like figure that his title is. And he's obsessed with this idea of control and power. But he is always he hates people in power. He doesn't realize that he wants to become the very thing that
Right,
he hates, which is weird.
right. Like, I mean, he's the Anakin Skywalker of the story.
Right. And I like how Mobius is like Loki's like, what even is this? You answer to a bunch of space lizards, and
Right,
Mobius is like, your dad's name is literally Odin. Your brother is the god of thunder. You're a god on a fictional or on Asgard. Like he's like, does any of this make sense? Mobius, I love how Mobius like flips it on him. He's like, you're a literal god. Does it make sense that you should be here? It's like Loki. I truly believe Loki generally cares for Mobius and vice versa.
yeah.
And I've seen so many edits on TikTok of like the couple breaking apart in the supermarket. It's just
Mm,
like I don't think Loki did it to portray the TVA. I think it's more so his curiosity and what this lady Loki is
yeah,
doing.
and it's also like, you know, again, like, what if all of these things are happening because someone else is making them happen? You know, something that I always find interesting when it comes to talking about Loki with people is, it's weird because a lot of these things with Loki are it's very confusing to people. Timeline, whatever. But I think it's a very agreed on fact that a lot of people just don't think Lady Loki's a bad person. Because
Yeah.
see, the thing is, with the timeline, Loki is always set for redemption. He's always destined to be redeemed.
Well, he's also always set for failure too. But
Yes,
yeah.
he's always set for setbacks. So, what if this is Loki redeemed already and now is going to give people free will? That's what I think Lady Loki's purpose is to break open the multiverse so people can have true freedom. Because
So
that's the thing is Loki's whole thing in the first Avengers is people sing the song about freedom and the false hope of it. But then we know from this variant of Loki, Lady Loki, that what if that's all she's trying to do is open up the multiverse so people can have freedom?
so my question is, do you think what moments do you think Lady Loki has experienced? Do you think she's experienced the events of the first Avengers or
I think at this point she's definitely had the events of Thor.
okay.
I'm gonna say maybe up to only up to the Avengers, because again
Okay.
we know we are going to visit multiple time periods where Loki wins in New York. He is the king of Asgard. And I believe there's one more.
Vormir. We see Vormir.
Yep, we see Vormir. Oh, and we see him become president.
President Loki.
So we know that's going to happen. And, we see in the trailer, he's like, well, what did you expect? He's talking to someone. Is he talking to Lady Loki or is he talking to Mobius in that? Because we have to think like when at the end when they're like, oh, something's attacked the sacred timeline, we have to assume that she put those reset charges in the TVA. Is the TVA really trying to tell everyone that they're the sacred timeline? I don't know, because also in one of the trailer footages, we see something that is a huge circle, which we assume is the timeline, right? That's what I assume it was. It looked literally just like the video from the first episode. Which I will say, it's funny that we actually see a physical Miss Minutes or physical. Is it physical because it's a hologram?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
She's interactive, but she's also saying that she's actually there, but she's also a recording.
Imagine a corrupt organization having a clock as
As
their
its
mascot.
puppet.
As a mascot.
But no, I mean, like, Dude, this show, it could go in so many different directions. But I like the theory that you and I are kind of putting together, that everything that's happened, technically the Avengers doing time travel, shouldn't have been okay with the sacred timeline, because that creates branch realities because Infinity Stones are moved from their destined spots.
Kane was okay with it.
Kang didn't care, because eventually, guess what? Tony Stark was going to die, so who cares? Because again, if you think about it, at the end of every single Avengers movie, Tony was always the one to concoct the plan to take down the big bad. At the end of the first,
even Infinity War,
yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the first Avengers movie, he told Cap that Loki wanted an audience, so he was going to go give him one. So of course he goes to Stark Tower and gives him the audience that he wants, and that leads to Loki's defeat. Same with Ultron. He says that he wants to defeat Ultron together, and then at the end of Endgame, he has to snap his fingers to win. He's the one who concocts that plan after Strange tells him it's time to do it. So, I mean, we now know that like Tony's gone. So I like the theory that Kang is he's just been playing long endgame chess with these people, and he's just waiting to pluck them out of his way.
Right. So, essentially, what I think the next episodes or few episodes are going to be about, we see Vormir. I think the next episode we go to Vormir, and I think we see that conversation with Loki and Lady Loki. We see Lady Loki sitting there, right, in one of the trailers.
Could you imagine if we see them like go up to where the Soul Stone is, and they're like, Loki, son of Laufey, other Loki.
Oh my god! If it's Red Skull, it's Red Skull. It's the Red Skull still there. But if you look at the time, it says 2301. So it's like
way
300.
In the future.
It's 300 years. So, and we see like the planets, like stars are flying over it and missiles. So I don't think the Soul Stone's there.
No. It's definitely long gone by now. And we also know that once the Soul Stone is taken, Red Skull is basically free to go. But dude, that'd be so fun if we just see Loki, son of Laufey, Loki, daughter of Laufey. Dude, who would sacrifice themselves in that moment?
Yeah, but
if you were to write that in that scenario, who's sacrificing themselves?
Lady Loki.
Really? I think it'd be normal Loki.
Okay, that's fair. But basically, I think we see Vormir. Something happens there. Then we go to New York. I don't know what happened. I know there was a charge set in New York in the year 1947.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that causes the branch reality where the Avengers lose, right? To Loki, and we see then Loki become president because Loki won the battle in New York, so he becomes president. Which would be really interesting to have Loki as the president of the United States. I don't think the country would do so well.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if you think about it, and that Loki who becomes president, I mean, he's literally someone who thinks that freedom isn't something that anyone should have. Which
I would vote for him.
Right. If you think about it, like, Loki is just like the TVA.
Right.
Like that version of that 2012 version of Loki. What's the difference between him and the TVA?
Nothing.
Both don't believe anyone should have freedom, free will, free reign over their own mind. Oh no. I think my webcam got unplugged. There we go. I don't know what just happened there. But yeah, I mean, it's something that's going to be interesting. I wonder, like, are we going to see dead Iron Man, dead Thor? Like, what
that would be dark
when we go to 2012 where he wins. Like, we're going to see him in Stark Tower. Like, we've already seen it in trailer footage. We see him in Asgard. Which, like, could you just imagine that Loki in that thought, like, one day this is going to be gone?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if he ever. I wonder if he ever went back to like the projector room and like sees Asgard's destruction.
And we did get it confirmed that a lot of people died on Asgard.
Yes, which
A
like
lot
is
of people
funny
died.
because um we can now assume half the planet died at Ragnarok, then
Right.
half died from Thanos,
And
then
then another
half
half died.
died with the snap. Oh no. Poor Asgard, dude. They
They had
were
a rough year. That was a rough year for them.
yeah, it's so bad, dude. Which like I wonder how far is Asgard from Earth? Because
Well,
we know
they were traveling for 6 months,
Mhm.
and they
Yeah,
weren't even close.
because they didn't even what's it called. They didn't go through the like how
They couldn't.
yeah, they couldn't. The ship it wasn't that kind of ship, so they had to travel so slowly through space.
Well, what's weird is Heimdall. Okay, well, Heimdall let one person go Hulk. Why couldn't he do the whole ship?
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the how it should have ended for Infinity War?
No, I haven't.
He Heimdall does the All Fathers let the dark magic flow through me one last time, but he does all of Thanos' crew to just the middle of space.
And they die.
And they die. Loki still has the Tesseract. Everyone else is still alive.
Out of everyone there, why would you send Bruce? Why would you send
Right.
Hulk?
Right. It's like the man who can barely form a sentence. Why him? Why not Thor?
Yeah.
Why not Loki? He has the Tesseract.
Yeah, why does it need teleport there?
Right. Also,
Why does
yeah,
he even
and
So my other question is if Ragnarok happens and Loki doesn't grab the Tesseract, is Thanos just done? It's like
well, we know that we know the space stone can't be destroyed. The Tesseract
Right.
probably got destroyed, like the case,
Yeah.
but the stone is still. Could you just imagine just flying around and you're like, "What is this blue rock?" And you concentrate a little too hard and you just vanish somewhere else.
Well, my thing is like with the Tesseract at the end, or when Loki escapes at Endgame, why does it take him to Mongolia? And why does he fly out of the
anywhere in the universe?
Why does he fly out of the sky?
I don't know, dude.
Like he flies out. Like Thanos never had this problem.
I don't know, dude.
And I love Infinity War, but how does Thanos know how does Thanos know to send his army to Wakanda out of all places? It's like I'm just like
Not only that, how do they get in Wakanda? Wakanda's not open like that. The less you know.
I don't know.
Guess what? I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
I couldn't. That would be a funny what if with Thanos just like looking at the wreckage of Asgard, trying to find the.
Right? He's going through. I haven't found it yet. What about all the ships that left not too long ago? There's no way that they could have it.
Right.
It's also like
how did Thanos even find the Asgardian ship? What was he doing, man?
Right. Did he just hear about Ragnarok and was like, there's the space stone? Like, maybe someone of his intelligence knew that Thor took it back to Asgard to be left in Odin's vault. But who knows? Like, I made a whole video on TikTok about why the time travel made branch realities. But like, I don't know. Like, what would have happened if they just left the Tesseract there? First of all, why did Loki take it?
Because it's Loki.
Like, if you think about it, you know what I would have liked to see? It would have been a really dark start to the movie. What if Thor died and Loki had to live with knowing that he was responsible for Thor's death?
That would have been dark.
He goes to Earth, right? And everyone's just like, why are you here?
This would have been way better.
Bro, it would have been a dark ass opening to Infinity. Darker. I didn't know if it could go darker than what it was.
And then he has to earn the trust of the Avengers and fight against Thanos.
Right, dude. Nah, we all know what was missing from Infinity War, and that was Led Zeppelin. That song needed to be
The
in that
immigrant
movie.
song.
Yes, which it's funny. I love the name of that song. I don't know why like it's such a weird name to the song, but it's funny because if you go to the lyrics video of it, someone like I think it was like 8 years ago, the top comment is this should have been Thor's theme song. And then all of the replies are, "Why'd you spoil Ragnarok? Why are you spoiling Ragnarok?"
I just love it. And I just love it when he's coming
Yes,
down.
yes, dude. Like,
Taika's the best.
here's the thing: is when I first watched Ragnarok, I didn't know "Immigrant Song" was at the beginning of the movie when he fights Surtur.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it before because me and my friend, she was watching the MCU movies for the first time.
Yeah.
And we were rewatching Ragnarok, and I'd heard the beginning of the song, and I was like, "How long has this been at the beginning of the movie?"
Since it was released.
Then this show played. What was that song, dude?
Oh, To Be a Hero.
Yes, dude. They played Ben Solo's theme. Why did they not, dude? We all know that clip, that audio, or that song should be at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. We all know it. So Disney.
Did we not talk about why did we bring that movie up? That movie brings me so much pain.
If they would have put that song at the end with Ben's arrival on Exegol, it would have been an easy 9 out of 10 movie.
Yeah. So, oh, by the way, I find it really funny that Loki is like, out of all the things that could have happened before the disaster on Ragnarok, he's like, we should push Hulk off of the Rainbow Bridge. This guy absolutely hates Hulk. And everything that could have happened, he's like, I could have killed Thor. Or actually, no, that would have screwed everything up. I could have killed Hela. Nah, I'm going to push Hulk off of the bridge.
Which, like, it's funny that, that line of thought came to Loki. Because you would think, like, why would he give so many details if he's trying to take over the TVA? Which is why I don't think Loki now has the heart to do it.
No.
I don't think he has the soul to do it.
What do you think Lady Loki's goal is? Freedom?
Open the multiverse.
Essentially free will.
Yep. Allow people to have their own free wills.
And I agree with her.
I do too. I think she's gone about it the wrong way, killing people, taking hostages. But I mean, hey,
presumably she's only killed Minutemen.
Right, yeah. Think about it. Like, these are people who, like Loki even says, it's a nice way of saying disintegrate people.
Right. You're killing people, essentially.
Right. So, I don't...
For the sacred timeline, no.
But yeah, for the sacred timeline. Or wait, what is their catchphrase? For all of time? Always?
For all time. Always.
Dude, look, they have not only a clock...
Wait, what's that?
As their mascot.
Yeah.
And they now have a terrible catchphrase for all time, always.
Kane, listen, TVA, if the timekeepers, if you're watching this, you guys suck.
Right.
You guys suck. I don't care if I get taken away by you. You suck.
A portal opens and all of a sudden you're gone. But dude, have you seen how many clever people use her whole thing of for the standing for your crimes? It's so good. Look, TikTok, when it's good. But oh man, this show, it's like the Obi-Wan kid. It's like the Revenge of the Sith of the MCU.
I think for you would be perfect, Alex, after actually enjoying something that Lucasfilm did.
You're to stand trial for your crimes.
I don't know for me. What would be
for you
for
not
me?
Liking something of Loki?
No, Hammy after he actually likes the Star Wars book or comic.
No, you after you say you don't want to play baseball anymore. That would create 30 branch timelines right there.
Or me doing my Loki impersonation. That definitely
you would be taken away. So you wouldn't be taken away by the TVA, you'd be taken away by me.
Yeah. So we've been talking about Loki for about an hour now. Do you have any predictions for? I kind of made mine.
Gosh. I didn't even know we've been talking for an hour.
We talked for a long time. I've had fun though. It's been really fun talking about Loki.
Hey, Bad Batch, maybe you should learn a thing or two.
By the way, I want to mention this. I feel really bad for Alabama. Why do they have to do him like that?
Bro, they're going to every state and just dogging on it, dude. Oh my god.
And I love how, like, dude, imagine being a TVA agent and Mobius is just like, yeah, nah, fam, we're not FEMA, we're nothing, we just can't help you. And it's literally a level 10 disaster, so presumably these people are literally suffocated by water.
Mm-hmm.
And the TVA is just like, sacred timeline, man.
Yep, sacred time. Sacred
Somebody
time
made
for all time, always.
Somebody made a good meme about the sacred or the TVA after they give kids cancer, and it was just a person dancing like the TVA celebrated. Like, why? Why would you do that? Why is it?
Right.
Why?
Oh, TVA. What a flawed system.
Why
You know
would?
what?
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Dude. You know, the TVA, man, for all of its flaws, I can't think of a positive thing to say.
They have to be like the worst organization ever to exist.
Dude, like, yes. Yes. I
The
mean,
TVA needs to be burned down.
yes. So, but like, that's the thing is like, for the season finale, season finale, it's only 4 weeks away now, just under a month. You know, what other connections do you think for WandaVision or Doctor Strange are we going to see?
So basically, again, I think we see the multiverse open up.
Yep.
I think we see our Loki, male Loki,
Mm.
doing some stuff. Like he becomes like king of Asgard. He becomes president of the United States. I don't think he's going to be with Lady Loki the whole time. I think they team up essentially, right? Because I think they basically have the same idea, just different ways of going about it.
Oh my
right?
gosh. I just thought of something. Continue.
And then I think by the end, Mobius finds him and he's like, okay, I'll join you again. But essentially, he's helping Lady Loki. And then he gets Mobius to join.
Right.
Because I don't think Mobius is a big fan of the TVA either.
I don't get that impression from him. I think he thinks what the TVA is doing. I think he's reluctant to side with the TVA.
Right. So, but I think Loki changes his mind. After Mobius sees what Loki's been doing.
Yeah, and you know, my whole thing is, you know what? I think when we see Loki as president and all that, what if those are all mind games played by Lady Loki? Like, this is what you could have. This is what you could be ruler. You could be president. You could have beaten all of the Avengers. You could have killed your brother. All the things you've always wanted to do.
I don't think Loki wants to kill his brother.
He stabbed him in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, but he cries when he sees he cries when he sees what happens in Infinity War. I think he loves his brother.
But he stabbed him. This is 2012 Loki. Okay,
it was out of love. It was out of love, man.
You know what? You're out of love. Like, I don't know. No, I mean, I either think these are gonna be Loki going through like. What if this is Loki going through his way of seeing 14,605 possibilities? And those are some of the possibilities we see.
Oh, I saw another funny meme about that. Like, Strange was like, it's like, a bunch of the times I just saw the TVA, but out of, we did win at least once. Like, Strange saw 14 million events, but like 13 million were just the TVA stopping him. And he said, yeah, we just won once.
No, how it should have ended for when he tells Tony Stark how many possibilities he saw. Tony's like, well, how many did we win? And instead of saying, one heartbreaking one, he's like, 5. And it just cuts away. Like, could you just imagine, like, the impact if he just said 5?
That's just so lazy.
No, lazy, they had only one.
One. Yeah, so you're telling me there was only one way to beat Thanos?
Right. You know what?
I think? No! What if I just had a crazy idea.
My thing is, what if there was multiple ways the Avengers could have won, but Strange was looking for one where everyone lived, and Tony could, and the one that he shows Tony so that he sacrifices himself.
What if Kane?
What if Kane goes?
Yes.
Oh wow. Wow. I didn't think about that.
The timekeepers like essentially showed Strange 14 million ways when they could have won a lot different ways, but Strange only saw it where Iron Man died.
Right.
Stark.
Yep.
Kid,
Dude, you know,
Marvel, Kevin
I want
Feige, hire me.
to see a Civil War 2.0 where we see Doctor Strange versus Spider-Man, and we see Peter blaming Strange for killing Tony.
Yeah, it is Strange's fault.
Literally, he just shouldn't have. Oh, I mean, if you think about it, why not let Thor snap? Why not let Thor snap?
Captain Marvel.
Captain fucking Marvel was right there. She had
Why not,
it. She had
why not
it.
have Strange snap?
Right. Or hear me out. Let Tony snap. Let Strange take the time stone, reverse Tony before he snaps. Nothing else would have happened. Everything else would have stayed snap because
But the director said that would have reversed everything and Thanos would have came back. But that doesn't make sense based on the rules you established.
Not only that, that's literally not how the time stone works.
Right, but that's what the director said why they didn't do that.
But the in movie universe reason, that's not how the time stone works.
Right, but yeah, because it's the time stone is whatever. Like I could alter this. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't reverse.
Joe and Anthony Russo, man, I love you guys, but
good directors, bad storytellers.
A lot of plot holes we created.
Oh my god, they're the reverse George Lucas.
By the way, so Gamora is just chilling in 2023 now. How was that approved?
No, she got snapped away. They confirmed that she did get snapped away. Because if you see at the end of the movie, Peter's like trying to find her, but she's dead. Hold on, let me verify.
She's in Thor: Love and Thunder, though.
Is she?
Well, yeah. Is Gamora dead? I don't think she is, my man.
Okay, but here's the thing. When Tony snaps away everyone from 2024, why would that not include Gamora? He doesn't know who Gamora is.
No, she didn't fade away with Thanos.
I don't know where you're seeing any pictures of her from Thor: Love and Thunder.
I thought I was Nebula.
Okay, I was gonna say. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I haven't heard anything like that.
I remember seeing.
She's alive.
I don't remember seeing that.
But the TVA shouldn't approve of that because that's a variant.
It's literally from another time. Like she's from the past.
Same thing with Thanos. So yeah, but what are you gonna do with Thanos? You're not gonna capture him.
Two Thanoses in one universe? I don't think that works.
Well, there's one. Thanos is dead.
Well, there's still two Thanoses. Like there's two Ebony Maws now. There's two of everyone now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know, man.
Hold on. Yeah, so I have the clip right now pulled up of Endgame where Star-Lord is. Oh my god, that was so loud.
All right, show it.
Hold on.
Share your screen. Show it.
I will in a second, but I scrolled past too far.
We don't see her snapped away, though, so essentially she's alive.
Hold on. 1 second. Wait.
Don't you think that would have been really important to see Gamora snapped away?
No, not really. It's 2014 Gamora. So, hold on. I'm going to watch it real fast. All it says is that he's searching. Yeah, and then he just pushes the screen away. So maybe it's an open-ended thing that we see her in Thor or in Guardians 3.
Right.
I don't know though. I mean, possibilities are endless after all. Okay, this is the MCU we're talking about. Okay,
Soon the MC
EU
MU Marvel Cinematic Multiverse
maybe.
MV MCMV Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
Maybe.
All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Alex, you do the outro.
All right. This was a good discussion about Loki. We talked about many things. You can find Drew over on TikTok at Hammy Demand. You can find me on TikTok over at Candy in My Van. Not suspicious at all. We will be back in 2 days on Friday to talk about The Bad Batch, episode 8, middle of the season now. So we're going to give our review about that. We're going to sign off now. Again, we'll be back on Friday to talk about The Bad Batch. And that's all for now.
See everyone on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
PM